Come on, come in. Welcome, welcome.
Now we're good. Sorry, muted. I said hello in a very loud way, and my dog got a little shocked over there. So now we're good. Now we got sound, and we're all good to go. That was perfect because I said loud. I said hi too loud, so it was muted. That was divine intervention right there. What's up, guys? Can you hear me now? Good. What's up, guys? Tolkien Rants. What's going on? It's a little chilly in my apartment right now. I got to turn the heat up. My hands are kind of cold. I got a blanket on. Ooh. My dog got shocked. No. I mean, shocked as in, wow. Not that kind of shocked. Umbrellas, crows, and stratus clouds? Oh, it's a joke. What's up? Love that. Grapple nerd. No. Don't take me out of context. I said I used to think that it was the dumbest sword ever. Now I probably think it's the coolest sword ever. Which is why I kind of want to get Sting. Oh, you got a bunch of snow? Yeah, it's 23 Fahrenheit. Dang. It's probably like 30 by me. It's a little rainy right now. It is rain for the next hour. Oh, it's actually 42. It was chillier this morning. I guess the rain's warming it up a bit. Yeah, I said Sting. There's a video coming out tomorrow. And I said Sting used to be... I used to think Sting was the lamest sword. I thought it was so dumb. Because the movies make it out to be like some kind of silly sword. For the movies, I'm like, it just feels like it doesn't do anything. And now the sword is so cool because of that last line in the book, or not that last line, in the last chapter. When it says it takes it out and it blinds your enemy. It's the most overpowered sword in existence in all fantasy. Like, if you have Sting, you should never lose. I mean, it's a dagger, so I guess you got to get close quarters. But doesn't, correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't Glamdring glow? Glamdring glows too. So that sword is the most overpowered sword. So if you pull that out of its scabbard and it's glowing and it all of a sudden blinds, it blinds the person who you're fighting against, you should never lose. That is crazy. That's like a flashbang right before you just jump into them and chop their head off. That is terrifying. That is crazy. That's such an overpowered sword. Revenant, thanks for the gifted membership. Appreciate you. And the Keltonian, congrats on the gifted membership. You can join for Margin Alien for members or early access to videos. Do I have a hypothesis for why the guard gate bonged the first time and then collapsed the second time that went through? Oh, interesting. I don't actually have a theory on that. I need to read that more. I still have to write I think I have to write one more essay on the Watchers, and I'm going to talk about that then. But I don't have a full theory for that yet. I just yeah, probably. I just made a video and just published it for members. It's going to come out Tuesday about the song. Is this a Fae chapter? Good. I love that word. Also, the chat today is going to be for another 10 minutes before we actually start. Because this is a long chapter. The original owner of Glamdring was overpowered. Interesting. I don't know who the original owner is. I hope we learned the original owner of Sting. That'd be kind of sweet. What's up? Hello, everyone. Honestly, I think that I'm kind of with you too. When I first read that, I think it had to do to me with how they were so exposed, so they just collapsed under the arch, collapsed under its exposed feeling. But I just wrote an essay on Song, And I feel like I left out some stuff. Like it was already verging on a 25-minute long video, and I didn't want it to like. I feel like I was dancing around what I was trying to say. But yeah, Attila, you took the words out of my mouth. Everyone liked the stream. There's only 23 people who like it, and there's 70 people watching. But I was talking about song. So I want to talk about this for a quick second, and then I'll talk about the watchers, and then we'll start to read. So this is a sneak peek of Tuesday's essay, because it's a 25-minute essay. The song, okay, so I've talked before about how I feel like the Shire is almost the Eden of Middle Earth. It feels like the place where song not necessarily originates, but potentially where it's the strongest, because they're singing songs about silly things, and only like a culture that is in like an Eden innocent state can sing songs about like, you know, that's an overstatement, but a lot of their songs are just about drinking and like having fun and like enjoying life. And Sam, the entire book, has really been poo-pooing his ability to like speak in poetry and song, but he reveres it. When he spoke the poem when they were on their way to Rivendell, he goes with his hands behind his back, and he's like very serious about speaking poetry. Same thing with the Oliphant poem. He was very serious about speaking the Oliphant poem, even though it's like a nursery rhyme. And then he has the thing about Galadriel when he's talking to Faramir, and he says how beautiful she is, and he describes it in such poetic, perfect language. And then all of a sudden in this section, like this song spontaneously comes to him when he's thinking of other rhymes like Bilbo's things. And then the last line is so interesting because I've talked about how like so Sauron, or the ring tempts Sam with a garden in Middle Earth, or a garden in Gorgoroth, which is Mordor, I'm guessing. I gotta find the Gorgoroth plain, or the plateau. What is it? So the ring tempts Sam with that, and then all of a sudden, in the end of his song, the Shire and the garden actually comes to Mordor in the shape of Samwise. Sam is the garden of that is growing in Mordor. He is the hope that is gonna set everything else on flame. Because as soon as they were awake, it says Sam felt that he could sit like that in endless happiness, but it was not allowed. It was not enough for him to find his master. He still had to try and save him. He kissed Frodo's forehead. "Come, wake up, Mr. Frodo," he said, trying to sound as cheerful as he had when he drew back curtains at Bag End on a summer's morning. Like, we're conjuring images of the Shire again. And it's interesting because some of Frodo's first words are, where am I? Where does he say that? Where does he say, where am I? There wasn't, when I heard it down, I tried to answer. I almost given up hope. I don't know where he said that, but I didn't have it underlined. But it's just so good. I just thought it was so good. Wait, Yost. What's your comment? Hold on, I missed something. Man, I missed a lot of comments. I just got sidetracked. Ah, you're sick? Bummer. Ooh, a little decorating for Christmas. I love that. You're a poet, Sam. Or the movies would say, Sam, you're a poet. Or the books would say, Sam, you're a poet. The movies would say, you're a poet, Sam. Oh, interesting that this chapter is a drag. Huh. I need a detailed map. Okay, Attila, thank you, because I'm going to pull up the map, the one and only. Let me find it in my files. Also, I was looking up. I was trying to find a really good version of Sam's song that he sings in the previous chapter, but I couldn't find a really good one that I liked that much. There was one. I forgot who it was. There was one that I thought was good, and the rest of them weren't quite as good to me. Here we go. Here's the map. My hands are so cold right now. All right, I'm gonna find this map, pull it up. I need a map. I do need a detailed map of Mordor, though, right? Yeah, I need a detailed map of Mordor. If you guys have a good detailed map of Mordor, throw it in the Discord. I think there was one when Danny was doing a live read. I think some people were sending them, but I think that was Athelion. Oh, the Efelduath. Yeah, Rob Engel. I didn't look that one up yet. Sorry, I'm real distracted. I should have set all this up before the stream. Whoops. All right, here we go. This is good. This is good. This is a thing of beauty. This is what I got. Boom. Got Photoshop behind it. This is what we got. We're good. We're good. We're good. I think that works. You sent it to Discord. Did you send it again? I have it. I pulled it up before. Oh, there we go. Thanks again. This file already exists. Replace it. There we go. We're in, baby. We're in. Ooh, this map is better. Ooh, this is a good one. I've never seen it before. All right, guys. Ooh, that's a cool map. Someone sent another one. I am imagining Mordor to be kind of like the movies, like a place where there's nothing. Like no trees, no nothing. Discord link, 1 second. Let me send that. And then we're going to begin our reading. What screen am I on right now? No, not that one. There we go. Hold on. Exit out of that. Disable. Let me invite anybody that wants to join the Discord, and then we're gonna start. Attila, I have the maps all set, but they're all in my files, and because my files get so unorganized with all my downloads, because I download thousands of things a week for the videos and for my research and stuff like that. Not really research. It just gets lost sometimes. It gets lost in the sauce. All right, you haven't missed anything because invalid link. What? Why is that an invalid link? Invite to server. Copy. Is that the same exact one? That's the same exact one. Interesting. Edit invite link. Yeah, I specifically don't want you to come in the Discord. Hold on, let me limit it to. Oh no, there's no limit on who it is. Generate link. Let me try this one. Try this sucker. Maybe we banned you from the Discord because you were trash talking or something. All right, this stream has started off distracted. I don't know what to expect in this chapter. Is it going to be a long walk to Orodruin? Orodruin? Or Orodruin? I think I gotta figure out how to say things. Where's the accent in Orodruin? I wish. Yeah, this is gonna be a long read, so we are just gonna get started right now. Clamavi de Profundis, Profundis is good, but I don't think they did a good version of Samsung. I want something better for Samsung. I accent is on the second O. Orodruin. Thank you, Nemo. Also, what's up? Orodrun? Orodrun? Is that the really pronunciation? That seems strange. Advertisement, sorry. Yes, Lemmy. I love that. Sunday afternoons. Just chill with me and hang out and watch me read Lord of the Rings. That's what a Sunday afternoon is for. Adele McAllister. That's the one. I liked her version. I didn't like some of the other ones. I have listened to maybe like 5 of them on just YouTube. Leviosa. Not Leviosa. Orodruin. Orodruin. I like that pronunciation. Orodruin. Orodruin. Or Orodruin. Okay. We're going to start reading before I go wild. Let me fix all my windows. Pull this up. Refresh. Also, everyone, you know the drill. Like the stream before we start reading. Yeah, pronounce it Mount Doom. This is a long chapter. I'm going to guess it's going to take us about 3 hours. Knowing my reading pace, maybe 6 hours. The next 2 chapters are pretty long. Hold on. Last second. Real quick. I want to check on Audible how long this chapter is, that they just straight up read it. Let's look it up. Oh, sorry, Andy. No, I just want to go there. There. It is an hour. Oh, it's actually shorter than the last chapter. It's an hour and 6 minutes. An hour and 6 minutes. That's not bad. That'll take us 3 hours. All right, I gotta warm my hands up. Ooh, blues and patches. Enjoy some D&D. That sounds fun. There's some people in our Discord who are playing D&D, I think, or setting up a campaign or something. I love that. I kind of want to do some D&D after we finish Lord of the Rings. Do some Lord of the Rings D&D. All right, let's get to reading because this is gonna be great. This is chapter 2 of book 6 of The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King. The Land of Shadow. Sam had just gosh, I already messed up the beginning. Sam had just wits enough left to thrust the file back into his breast. Let's pause after the first sentence and talk about this for a second, because the file is in Sam's possession, not in Frodo's. The file. I need to figure out more what the file does. I need to reread because I forgot some of what they said and they gave, Sam had just wits enough left to thrust the file back into his breast. He's putting out his heart. "Run, Mr. Frodo," he cried. "No, not that way. There's a sheer drop over the wall. Follow me." Wait, did they hear a noise? Why are they are they in a rush? Oh, a ghastly streak. That's right. I totally forgot about the end of this chapter because I've been so focused on writing essays for things. Oh my gosh, hold on. I need to read. Okay, we're going to reread. Gosh, I cannot believe I forgot this this crazy cliffhanger. The last paragraph of this chapter, of chapter 1. "The will of the Watchers was broken with a suddenness like the snapping of a cord, and Frodo and Sam stumbled forward. Then they ran through the gate and past the great seated figures with their glittering eyes. There was a crack. The keystone of the arch almost crashed on their heels, and the wall above crumbled and fell in ruin. Only by a hair did they escape. A bell clanged, and from the Watchers there went up a high and dreadful wail. Far up above, in the darkness, it was answered. Out of the black sky, there came a dropping like a bolt, a winged shape, rending the clouds with a ghastly shriek. That's where we are. Okay, here we go. Sam had just wits enough left to thrust the phial back into his breast. "Run, Mr. Frodo," he cried. "Not that way. There's a sheer drop over the wall. Follow me." Down the road from the gate they fled. In 50 paces, with a swift bend round a jutting bastion of the cliff, it took them out of sight from the tower. They had escaped for the moment. Cowering back against the rock, they drew breath, and then they clutched at their hearts. Perching now on a wall beside the ruined gate, the Nazgul sent out its deadly cries. All the cliffs echoed. Dang. In terror, they stumbled on. Soon the road bent sharply eastward again, and exposed them for a dreadful moment to view from the tower. As they flitted across, they glanced back and saw the great black shape upon the battlement. Then they plunged down between the high rock walls in a cutting that fell steeply to join the Morgul road. They came to the way meeting. There was still no sign of orcs, nor of an answer to the cry of the Nazgul. But they knew that the silence would not last long. At any moment now, the hunt would begin. "You won't do, Sam," said Frodo. "If we were real orcs, we ought to be dashing back to the tower, not running away. The first enemy we meet will know us. We must get off this road somehow." "But we can't," said Sam. "Not without wings." The eagles. Imagine the eagles come and say, "Hey, we didn't get you over the mountains, but what we're going to do is we're going to jump, and you're going to jump on our backs, and you're just going to drop the ring in as we pass over Orodruin." Imagine it was like that. That'd be wild. Wow. Ooh. A little U.S. style popcorn. Interesting. Used. Okay, hold on. Let me take a pause. See what's in Discord. I'm not gonna do this all the time. A little S. Cake. What is that? I don't even know what that is. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading. That was a distraction. Fly, you fools. That was exactly what. Yeah, can quails fly? That's the question of the day. A little sorry for the little wild essay. All right, let's keep reading. "But we can't," said Sam. "Not without wings." "The eagles are coming." The eastern faces of the Ephel-Duath were sheer, falling in cliff and precipice to the black trough that lay between them and the inner ridge. A short way beyond the way meeting, after another steep incline, a flying bridge of stone leapt over the chasm and bore the road across into the tumbled slopes and glens of the Morgai. What is the Morgai? Hold on. Okay, first map. Will it tell me what the Morgai is? Are those just the plains? Like the lands, the glens of the Morgai? The lands around Mordor's borders. Okay. All right, perfect. With a desperate spurt, Frodo and Sam dashed along the bridge. But they had hardly reached its further end when they heard the hue and cry begin. Away, behind them, now high above on the mountainside, loomed the tower of Cirith Ungol, its stones glowing dully. Suddenly, its harsh bell clanged again, and then broke into a shattering peal. What is this horn? The horn is throwing me off a little bit. Like, is the horn an actual horn? Is someone blowing the horn? Where is this horn really coming from? Suddenly, or the bell. Sorry, the bell. It's an alarm bell. Horns sounded. Where are their horns? I just need to read and find out because it's probably going to tell me in the next sentence. Suddenly, its harsh bell clanged again, and then broke into a shattering peal. Horns sounded. And now from beyond the bridge end came answering cries. Down in the dark trough, cut off from the dying glare of Orodruin, Frodo and Sam could not see ahead. But already they heard the tramp of iron-shod feet, and upon the road there rang the swift clatter of hooves. No! Is this the rest of the ring race? And the real question, have the ring race selected a new king? Did they have a little council real quick and say, you are now the new Witch King? Quick, Sam, over we go, cried Frodo. They scrambled onto the low parapet of the bridge. Fortunately, there was no longer any dreadful drop into the gulf, for the slopes of the Morgai had already risen almost to the level of the road. But it was too dark for them to guess the depths of the fall. Well, here goes, Mr. Frodo, said Sam. Goodbye. He let go. Frodo followed. And even as they fell, they heard the rush of horsemen sweeping over the bridge and the rattle of orc feet running up behind. But Sam would have laughed if he had dared. Half fearing a breaking plunge down onto the unseen rocks, the hobbit landed. In a drop of no more than a dozen feet, with a thud and a crunch into the last thing that they had expected. A tangle of thorny bushes. Ugh. So there's actually plant life there. Interesting. In my head, there was nothing there. Everything was like completely gone. So, I don't know. Witch King. That's the new reality show that they're all in the new reality series. Witch King is going to be the Witch King. Dark Arizona. Yeah, legitimately, that's a great depiction of it. Sorry if you live in Arizona. Yeah, he was the Witch King of Angmar, so he was the Witch King before he was the Witch King. Or you know what I mean. So I guess that they don't have like a new king that they're going to select. Interesting. Volcanic regions are typically lush. You're actually, yeah, absolutely true. I feel like because this is such an active one though, maybe not, maybe less so. This one it feels more like a Brandon Sanderson, like Scadrial area. Like everything is bleak. Like there's nothing really that grows. Like the clouds are blocking out the sun too much. So it feels like you're going to Arizona. Uh-oh. Welcome to Mordor. Maybe it feels a little more dirty in Mordor than Arizona. So they landed the thorns and thistles, a tangle of thorny bushes. There Sam lay still, softly sucking a scratched hand. When the sound of hoof and foot passed, he ventured a whisper. Bless me, Mr. Frodo, but I didn't know as anything grew up in Mordor. There you go. Bless me, Mr. Frodo, but I didn't know as anything grew in Mordor. But if I had known, this is just what I'd have looked for. These thorns must be a foot long by the feel of them. They've stuck through everything I've got on. Wish I'd put that mail shirt on. Orc mail doesn't keep out thorns. Orc mail doesn't keep these thorns out, said Frodo. Not even a leather jerkin is any good. Maybe those thorns are really, really thin and they can get through the mail. Also, is Sam talking about the chainmail of the orc or the actual mail of Frodo? The mithril. Clothing. He's talking about the mithril? No, not mithril? No, I know the mithril coat is gone, but Sam is thinking all the way back to when Frodo got stabbed and when he's like disrobing him. You know what I mean? Like I thought he was thinking, "Hey, I wish I took your clothes off, your mithril coat, and put it on myself." It's the orc mail though. Okay, good to know. They had a struggle to get out of the thicket. The thorns and briars were tough as wire and as clinging as claws. This is a good description of it. It's like a land of barbed wire almost, like a thicket barbed wire. Their cloaks were rent and tattered before they broke free at last. Now down we go, Sam, Frodo whispered. Down into the valley quick, and then turn northward, as soon as ever we can. Day was coming again in the world outside, and far beyond the glooms of Mordor the sun was climbing over the eastern rim of Middle-earth. Huh. But here all was still dark as night. The mountain smoldered and its fires went out. The glare faded from the cliffs. The easterly wind that had been blowing ever since they left Ithilien now seemed dead. Slowly and painfully they clambered down, groping, stumbling, scrambling among rock and briar and dead wood in the blind shadows. Down and down until they could go no further. At length they stopped and sat side by side, their backs against the boulder. Both were sweating. If Shagrat himself was to offer me a glass of water, I'd shake his hand, said Sam. Don't say such things, said Frodo. It only makes it worse. Then he stretched himself out, dizzy and weary, and he spoke no more for a while. At last, with a struggle, he got up again. To his amazement, he found that Sam was asleep. Wake up, Sam, he said. Come on. It's time we made another effort. Sam scrambled to his feet. Well, I never, he said. I must have dropped off. It's not a long time, Mr. Frodo, since I had a proper sleep and my eyes just closed down on their own. That is, okay. I love that, actually. I feel like there's a lot of novels and stories. This is one of my pet peeves about some shows and movies is that the characters never go to the bathroom or sleep. Obviously, we're not going to have a bathroom scene in Lord of the Rings. But I love that we have a sleep scene where Tolkien actually acknowledges how tired Sam is. Because some of these characters in these movies and these books, they're awake for 40 days and they're like, no, they don't even bat an eye. They've never slept. And here we have Sam, who's literally in Mordor, in the heart of like the doom, and he hasn't slept in days, and he's nodding off because it's realistic. Yeah, a lot of sleep scenes when hobbits are involved. It's true. Yeah. I kind of love that. Yeah, Pippin's bath time song, honestly, it's kind of a good point. They do have a little bathroom break there when they're in one of my favorite chapters. Still one of my favorite chapters. Yeah, the hunter is sleeping. That's true. The hunters did have their little sleep thing where Legolas. I remember it mentioned that Legolas ate like green stuff. Legolas's sleep was really weird. Didn't it mention something that like he ate green stuff? But anyway, all that to say that I like when authors incorporate that in their works. Because right now I'm going, Sam hasn't slept in days because he's been so paranoid with Gollum before that he hasn't really slept. Like the week before, he hasn't had a proper sleep in really long. Legolas walks in his sleep. He oozed green slime. That's how he sweats. Legolas sweats green slime. Elves do seem a little weird. Yeah, clarity does come in sleep. So I kind of love that. They're like Sam, just realistically, his like head hits the ground. And then he just nods off for a little bit. It's going to be sad, though, because he's going to be tired. They're not going to really... I don't know. Maybe they'll get a proper sleep in Mordor, but I kind of doubt it. Man, poor Sam. Okay. Frodo now led the way, northward as near as he could guess, among the stones and boulders lying thick at the bottom of the great ravine. But presently he stopped again. It's no good, Sam, he said. I can't manage it. This mail shirt, I mean. Not in my present state. Even my mithril coat seemed heavy when I was tired. This is far heavier. And what's the use of it? We shan't win through by fighting. But we may have some to do, said Sam. And there's knives and stray arrows. That golem isn't dead, for one thing. I don't like to think of you with naught but a bit of leather between you and a stab in the dark. Look here, Sam dear lad, said Frodo. I am tired, weary. I haven't a hope left, but I have to go on trying to get to the mountain as long as I can move. The ring is enough. This extra weight is killing me. It must go. But don't think I'm ungrateful. I hate to think of the foul work you must have had among the bodies to find it for me. Man, that's actually another really good thought, too. Don't talk about it, Mr. Frodo. Bless you. I'd carry you on my back if I could. Let it go, then. I can't carry the ring, but I can carry you. Oh, I love that. He actually offers to, he actually offers to carry him. What a lovely section. In Mordor, there's still beauty. Frodo, a little sacrificial lamb. Oh, yeah, sorry, you didn't miss too much. Didn't miss too much. The elves are weird in The Hobbit. Oh, boy. In the business, we call this foreshadowing. Oh, all right. There you go. Frodo laid aside his cloak and took off the orc mail and flung it away. He shivered a little. What I really need is something warm, he said. It's gone cold, or else I've caught a chill. You can have my cloak, Mr. Frodo, said Sam. He unslung his pack and took out the elven cloak. How is this, Mr. Frodo, he said. You wrap that orc rag round you close. You wrap that orc rag close round you, and put the belt outside it. Then this can go over all. It don't look quite orc fashion, but it'll keep you warmer, I dare say, and I dare say it'll keep you from harm better than any other gear. It was made by the lady. Frodo took the cloak and fastened the brooch. That's better, he said. I feel much lighter. I can go on now. But this blind dark seems to be getting into my heart. Huh. But this blind dark. Is Frodo going blind? Remember we were mentioning that a while ago? That kind of bolted out of my head until we came to this section. When they were in Emyn Muil, and there was one other section. I'm curious what Sam's going to say in response to this. For sure Mordor is dark. But there was one section where Frodo was having vision problems. Like he couldn't see. I know that it's dark in Mordor. But still, this seems to be a combination of the two. I'm just going to say that. It's dark from the smog produced by the mountains. For sure. But still, this blind dark seems to be getting into my heart. As I lay in prison, Sam, I tried to remember the Brandywine and Woody End and the water running through the mill at Hobbiton. But I can't see them now. Ah, this is what I was talking about before. This is gonna be Tuesday's essay. But the idea that Sam is literally the one that is the Shire. One of the reasons that Frodo is probably able to hang on so long is because Sam represents everything good in the Shire that Frodo is really fighting for. Because his love transitions from the Shire to Sam. Ah, it's so good. And anyway, there now, Mr. Frodo. It's you that's talking of water this time, said Sam. If only the lady could see us or hear us. I'd say to her, your ladyship, all we want is light and water. Just clean water in plain daylight. Better than any jewels, begging your pardon. But it's a long way to Lorien, Sam sighed, and waved his hand toward the height of the Ethel Duath, now only to be guessed as a deeper blackness against the black sky. Okay, here's the real question. This is going to sound absurd. If you are in a pinch, if you are like close to death, like Sam and Frodo, let's say they're about 100 yards from Mount Doom and they have no water except the phial of Galadriel. Do they drink from the phial of Galadriel? The water from the mirror of Galadriel? That's the real question. Would you drink from the phial of Galadriel? What would be in that? What is in the mirror of Galadriel? It's probably not water, but it's maybe. Oh my! Hold on, my webpage is totally crashed. Go 1 second. Give me a sec. What is in that? I don't know how you get it open, but it's better than Frodo spilling it all over himself, like the movies have. That scene drives me crazy. I'm actually curious. I'm so curious about what the file is. I'm just so stuck on the file. Oh, Sarah, what's up? Change. Oh, I love it. Piano Bookworm. What a good name. It is the light of Erendil reflected in the water. That's the file. That's my understanding of the file. Probably doesn't have a screw top, but how do they mold that into... It has to have some kind of opening. How would they get the water in? This is a wild question. Liquid starlight. Okay, that makes more sense then. That makes more sense. Yeah. They break it open, they'd spill it all over the place. That was a wild question. Sorry. Also, there's another thing that I'm thinking of. It feels a little ominous that they're in orc clothes. Like, I'm curious if they're going to have... Okay, so let's say they do the deed and it goes according to the movies. If the Eagles pick up Frodo and Sam, are they going to have trouble knowing where Frodo and Sam are because they're in orc clothes? Like, is there going to be something else that, like, is Gollum going to be confused that they're in orc clothes? Are orcs going to be confused? Like, there seems like there might be some payoff of them being in orc clothes. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's keep reading. They started off again. They had not gone far when Frodo paused. "There's a black rider over us," he said. "I can feel it. We had better keep still for a while." Huh. I can feel it. I wonder if Sam can feel that too. Or is Sam just so pure of a person that he can't feel these? Like, did Sam... I need to, I need to, reread the whole thing now. And reread it and think, can Sam feel the Nazgul? Or is he too hopeful? Crouched under a great boulder, they sat facing back westward, and did not speak for some time. Then Frodo breathed a sigh of relief. "It's past," he said. They stood up again. And then they both stared in wonder. Away to their left, southward against the sky that was turning gray, the peaks and high ridges of the Great Range began to appear dark and black. Visible shapes. Light was growing behind them. Slowly it crept toward the north. There was battle far above in the high spaces of the air. The billowing clouds of Mordor were being driven back. Oh, okay. For a second, I thought there was going to be a battle between the Eagles and between the Nazgul. But this is just a battle of nature. It was still pretty cool. Yeah, wind is changing. Where did I say? Where did I finish? It appeared black. The billowing clouds of Mordor were being driven back, their edges tattering as a wind out of the living world came up and swept the fumes and smokes toward the dark land of their home. Under the lifting skirts of the dreary canopy, dim light leaked into Mordor, like pale morning, through the grimed window of a prison. That's a good description. "Look at it, Mr. Frodo," said Sam. "Look at it. The wind's changed. Something's happened. He's not having it all his own way. His darkness is breaking up out of the world there." His darkness is breaking up out in the world there. I wish I could see what is going on. It was the morning of the 15th of March, and over the Vale of Anduin the sun was rising above the eastern shadows. and the southwest wind was blowing. Théoden lay dying on the Pelennor fields. Ah. Rest in peace. As Frodo and Sam stood and gazed, the rim of light spread all along the line of the Ephel-Duath. And then they saw a shape, moving at a great speed out of the west. At first, only a black speck against the glimmering strip above the mountaintops, but growing until it plunged like a bolt into the dark canopy and passed high above them. As it was sent out, a long, shrill cry, the voice of a Nazgul. But this cry no longer held any terror for them. It was a cry of woe and dismay. Ill tidings for the Dark Tower. Yeah, the Lord of the Ringwraiths had met his doom. Let's go. That's actually kind of cool that they're, well, it's a little crazy that they're singing a song of woe and like, I don't want to say lament, but kind of, yeah, lament. Interesting. Really interesting. What did I tell you? Something's happening, cried Sam. The war is going well, said Shagrat. But Gorbag, he wasn't so sure. And he was right there, too. Things are looking up, Mr. Frodo. Have you got some hope now? Oh. Well, no, not much, Sam, Frodo sighed. That's away beyond the mountains. We're going east, not west. And I'm so tired. And the ring is so heavy, Sam. And I begin to see it in my mind all the time, like a great wheel of fire. I know Frodo has been carrying the ring for longer than Sam, obviously, so his hope is probably getting a little bit more tormented than Sam is. But it also makes me think potentially if this is residual effects of the Black Shadow. Like, Frodo had it for what? 18 days on the road? That's a long time to be inflicted by that. And does Elrond in the book say that this wound he'll carry this wound for the rest of his life? I don't remember that. I don't know. Read and find out. That's me reading previously. I gotta reread the whole book and find out. And 17 years before they left, the wounds are cumulative. So that's interesting. It makes me think it's similar in the movies. I gotta re-remember that. Also, what's up, Gibby? I feel like, yeah, Greenie or Green Christendom. I'm with you. It feels like all these things are working together to like work against Frodo here. But the sun's kind of winning, which is good. It's giving him a little bit of hope, but it makes me scared for Frodo at the end of this. Like, if Frodo leaves Middle-earth, like the movies have, if the books have the same thing, is Frodo doing that? Why is Frodo doing that? Why is Frodo doing that? That never makes sense to me. Why would he do that? I mean, I can't wait to get there to see that. But part of the reason, maybe I'm like really forward speculating because I don't even know if this happens in the book, but maybe he was going to die from depression and despair in Middle-earth because this thing was not fully treated, and in the Undying Lands maybe they have more way to help or something. I know, I'm gonna find out in a few weeks. It's gonna be a few weeks till we get there. Like, but it just makes me sad, this section. Like, there's hope that's arriving into the story and Frodo cannot feel it, so it just makes me nervous for his future. Like, what's going to happen in the few years after he destroys the ring and he's just sitting in Hobbiton? Is he going to be more and more depressed and more glum? I don't know. Yeah, everyone's just going to read and find out. Read and find out, you chump. All right, let's keep reading. Probably won't find out for a few months, to be honest, or weeks at the very least. But let's keep reading. Let's keep reading this chapter. Where am I? Sam's quick spirits sank at once again. Aw. He looked at his master anxiously, and he took his hand. Like that is like someone who recognizes someone is falling deep into depression, and like they can't do anything about it, and they're like just nervous about it. Come, Mr. Frodo, he said. I've got one thing I wanted, a bit of light. Enough to help us, and yet I guess it's dangerous too. Try a bit further, and then we'll lie close and have a rest. But take a morsel to eat now. A bit of the elves' food. It may hearten you. Sharing a wafer of lembas and munching it as best they could with their parched mouths, Frodo and Sam plodded on. The light, though no more than a gray dusk, was now enough for them to see that they were deep in the valley between the mountains. It sloped up gently, northward, and at its bottom went the bed of a now dry and withered stream. Beyond its stony course, they saw a beaten path that wound its way under the feet of the westward cliffs. Had they known, they could have reached it quicker, for it was a track that left the main Morgul road at the western bridge end and went down by a long stair cut in the rock to the valley's bottom. It was used by patrols or by messengers going swiftly up to lesser posts and strongholds north away, between Cirith Ungol and the narrows of Ironmouth. The iron jaws of Karak Angren. We're pulling out a map. Everyone, pull out your maps. All right, hold on. Everyone, join me on this journey. Okay, so they got past Cirith Ungol. We have this little triangle road right here. No quail yet today, but we do need some water. Everyone needs to go drink a pint of water in this chapter. I really am thirsty after this chapter. Okay, so let me reread this. What does this say? So they had known they could reach it quicker by the Morgul road. Morgai, where's Morgai? Oh, Morgai. Okay, Morgai are like the foothills of Efelduath. Is Ironmouth? Okay, there you go, Ironmouth. So hold on, let me read this. So one of the roads goes up to the Ironmouth. It says, where does it say this? It was used by patrols or by messengers going swiftly to lesser posts and strongholds north away, between Cirith Ungol and the narrows of Ironmouth. So there's a bunch of lame patrols over here. So are there a bunch of like little roads? Maybe this little road? They're in the white bit left of the Morgai. So they're like right here. Oh man, Jack, thanks. I appreciate it. £5. Is your second favorite chapter? No way. Interesting. Well, when you rewatch, I hope you enjoy. Wait, west, not east. That's right of the Morgai. I need to figure out my west and east. Okay, so they're in this narrow channel. So they're here. They haven't yet gone over the Morgai, but there's a bunch. I'm guessing they're okay. Hold on. Let me read this. Had they known, they could have reached it quicker, for it was a track that left the main Morgul road at the western bridge end and went down beyond a long stair cut into the rock in the valley's bottom. It was used by patrols or by messengers going swiftly to lesser posts. Wait. So they went to... Oh, no. This is an arrow that's leading to Cirith Ungol. Okay. Sorry. So Cirith Ungol is here. This is just an arrow that says Cirith Ungol is here. So they go down into this valley, and this is, I guess, like a road-ish that leads to lesser strongholds and posts. But they're taking this road. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I might be real directionally confused here. I'm usually pretty good with directions, or or uh, or a map, but sometimes not. Um, okay, let's keep reading. So far, I talked about this in the Old Forest chapter. This is gonna be the first essay in this chapter so far. One of the things I think he's trying to do, and I think authors do this to some extent. An author cannot do this for a full book because that means you're going to write a terrible book. But sometimes an author does this in chapters. A good author like Tolkien does this in a chapter where they make you purposefully confused because they want you to feel confused with the reader or with the characters. So like the directional confusion that you feel like Frodo and Sam do. And you're like, what the heck? Where do I even go? With Frodo and Sam. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, Sauron has a GPS blocker for sure. He has a radar blocker. His Nazgul are flying above, blocking your radars. That's why all the clouds are there. I know Mary did study a lot of maps. They need Mary on this journey right now. Mary's been like the studious one, studying his maps, making sure that they're going in the right directions. I love that he did that. Oh, I love Mary. Oh, I love Mary. I hope he's doing all right. Well, at this moment right now, he's riding. At this moment, he's on the battlefield. He's like lying near dead on the Pelennor fields, and he's probably stumbling into Minas Tirith now. Poor Merry. You'll make it, buddy. I hope. It was perilous for the hobbits to use such a path. Oh, Pippin. Oh, I just had a thought of Pippin. If Pippin's dead, I will riot in the streets. For the hobbits to use such a path, but they needed space. It was perilous for the hobbits to use such a path, but they needed space. And Frodo felt that he could not face the toils of scrambling among the boulders or in the trackless glens of the Morgai. And he judged that northward was maybe the way that their hunters would least expect them to take. The road east of the plain were the pass back westward. Those they would search first. Those they would first search most thoroughly. Only when he was well north of the tower did he mean to turn and seek for some way to take him east on the last desperate stage of his journey. So now they crossed the stony bed and took to the Orc path. And for some time they marched along it. The cliffs at their left were overhung, and they could not be seen from above. But the paths made many bends. And at each bend, they gripped their sword hilts and went forward cautiously. Hold on. Speed, not space. What did I say? They needed speed, thank you, not space. But maybe they need some space. You never know. Okay, real quick. One quick thing. So, let me lower this map for a second. Pull back up chat because my window keeps crashing. Okay, let me pull the map up again. The Morgai. This narrow channel is... Okay, I don't know how to ask this. Is this a plateau in between... Okay, so let me draw a picture. Let me draw a picture for you. Let me paint a picture. I'm going to do two different little illustrations. 1 or 2. Does it do this? Is that it, or is this it? I act like you can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, here. These two options. This looks ridiculous. Is this it? where there is a plateau right here where they're walking on and they have to descend again right there? Or is it like they just descended into this valley and they need to come up again onto the Morgai and then go down? Number 2, I'm overthinking again. I like to figure everything out. Come on. Okay, number 2, thank you. They're on a plateau, not a valley. Not a plateau. They are in a valley. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Okay, that's all I needed to know. And I just wanted to draw a picture for you just so you guys can help me understand. Okay, go give your cat medication quick and come back. Interesting. Now, how are they going to get down? I guess these are like maybe lesser foothills. They got down for Emmanuel, so maybe they can get on for this. They need, I'm going to say it, and this sounds bad, they probably need Gollum for this section to be their guide again. Oh boy. Probably shouldn't say that because he's going to pop up in the story like a little cretin. Okay, where am I? The light, each band gripped their sword hilts and went forward cautiously. If Sam wasn't rude. Yeah, honestly, legitimately. If he wasn't, that was one moment where he could have repented. The light grew no stronger, for Rodruin was still belching forth a great fume that, beaten upward by the opposing airs, mounted higher and higher, until it reached a region above the wind and spread in an immeasurable roof, whose central pillar rose out of the shadows beyond their view. Okay, side question. Sorry, I am going on a lot of rants right now, or a lot of little side questions. But the word belch, do we get that we belched as in burped because the original usage of belch was for volcanic activity? Because that's cool. To spew forth. But what's like the origin of that? Someone look that up. That'd be kind of fun if like initially it was used to talk about volcanoes. Did volcanoes get it from us, or did we get it from volcanoes? That's the real question. We ask the deep questions here, guys. Everyone is like, John, shut up and read the book, read the text. Yeah, Edaman Online. Thank you. Yeah, there's an essay in that, guys. What came first, the belch or the volcano? The burp or the volcano? Huh. Bring up wind from the stomach. Interesting. Bulkin from Old English Belkan. Bring up wind from the stomach. That seems like a volcanic thing too. The stomach of a volcano. My focus needs more focus. Come on, everyone knows at this point I'm not focused. This is what you guys are all here for. You're on your second bowl. All right. Let's keep reading. Everyone liked the stream because we don't just talk about belching and volcanic activity here. Every few minutes we read a sentence or two. Okay. Where am I? Belching. They had trudged for more than an hour when they heard a sound that brought them to a halt. Unbelievable but unmistakable. Water trickling out of a gully on the left, so sharp and narrow that it looked as if the black cliff had been cloven by some huge axe. Water came dripping down. The last remains, maybe, of some sweet rain gathered from sunlit seas, but ill-fated to fall at last upon the walls of the black land and wander fruitless down into the dust. Here it came out of the rock in a little falling streamlet and flowed across the path, and turning southward, ran away swiftly to be lost among the dead stones. One of the questions is, where does Mordor get its water? Orcs need to drink water, right? My mind is all over the place today. Sorry, guys. Streamlet flowed across the path and turned south, ran away swiftly to be lost among the dead stones. Everyone just read and find out. All right. Sam sprang towards it. If I ever see the lady again, I will tell her, he cried. Light and now water. Then he stopped. Let me drink first, Mr. Frodo. That's true. Hold on. Where did it say that? It had to be just on the last page. What does Sam exactly say? Let me find this. Where did he say that of Galadriel? What was he? Oh, here we go. There now, Mr. Frodo. It's, if only the lady could see us or hear us, I'd say to her, your ladyship, all we want is light and water, just clean water and plain daylight, better than any jewels. Begging your pardon. But it's a long way to Lorien. That was when we had the whole discussion on, oh, Gravel Nerd, thanks. Thanks for the 10 euros. So Sam asks for something and he gets his wish. Divine. Is Galadriel an angel? Are you an angel? Sam gets his... I don't know what essay is in there, but there's an essay in there somewhere. There's something in there. That's kind of a cool section, though. If I ever see the lady again, I will tell her, he cried. Light and now water. Then he stopped. Let me drink first, Mr. Frodo, he said. Let me drink first. Why does Sam say that? Sam, that seems out of character. All right, but there's room enough for two. Then he stopped. Let me drink first, Mr. Frodo. I didn't mean that, said Sam. I mean, if it's poisonous or something that will show its badness quick. Well, better me than you, master, if you understand me. I love that. Literally the next sentence. That always happens. I always have a wondering, and then he answers that. But that's so great. That's such great because it was on the next page. And Tolkien is making me wonder. You're like, that doesn't seem like it's in character for Sam. That seems out of character. And then literally the next sentence. It isn't. It's not in character for Sam, but it is because he's asking if it's poisonous. Well, better me than you, master, if you understand me. I do. But I think we'll trust our luck together, Sam. Or our blessing. I love that, Frodo. Good on you. Still, be careful now. If it's very cold. The water was cool, but not icy. It had an unpleasant taste, at once bitter and oily, or so they would have said at home. Here it seemed beyond all praise, and beyond fear or prudence. They drank their fill, and Sam replenished his water bottle. After that, Frodo felt easier, and they went on for several miles until the broadening of the road and the beginning of a rough wall along its edge warned them that they were drawing near to another orkhold. This is where we turn aside, Sam, said Frodo, and we must turn east. He sighed as he looked at the gloomy ridges across the valley. I have just enough strength left to find some hole away up there, and then I must rest a little. Interesting. John, many decades from now, reflect on his greatest life lesson, and it shall be to read and find out. Yeah, this sounds nasty, but at the same point, there is a point where sometimes the nastiest water can still taste delicious if you're thirsty enough. That's happened a few times in my life when I've been backpacking, and I've really been in need of water, and I've had to get water from a nasty spot. And one of those nasty spots was the best water that I've ever had in my life because I was so thirsty. I had this one day, I was hiking the Appalachian Trail, and then I was hiking up in Massachusetts, and there were these 3 peaks. And I ran out of water early. I ran out of water on the second peak, the top of the second peak, and it was a drought that year. And I was hoping that as I went into the valley that I was going to find some water, but I didn't. And I had to climb back up this crazy peak. It was not like a long peak. It was about a mile long, but it was so steep. And I got all the way to the top of that one so slow because I was so thirsty and I had no water. And it was drawing to the end of my day, and I was hoping beyond hope. I looked up. There's this like a Appalachian Trail app that people used. It used to be called Gut Hooks. I forgot what it's called now. But I used to use that, and I would find it's like a user generated thing. People like talk about water sources and like where cool views are and everything like that as you're walking up the trail. So it's like very updated. And one of the updates was saying that like 2 weeks ago, the water was barely trickling in that little stream at the campsite. And I was like, there needs to be something there. There needs to be like a puddle there that I can drink because I need something. I need it so bad. But there was a parking lot because there was another little lake there. And I found that lake. But in the parking lot of this section, there was someone who knew that there was a drought, and they would do this year after year after year. They would leave massive tubs of water. So I was literally able to go under this like massive tub and just touch the little top thing and just pour water into my mouth. It was probably the thirstiest that I've ever been in my life. And it was the best water that I've ever had in my life. Oh, so good. Yeah, I experienced Mordor. Anyway, let's keep reading. That's my little Mordor experience. I experienced Caradhras and Mordor. The riverbed was now some way below the path. They scrambled down to it and began to cross it. To their surprise, they came upon dark pools fed by threads of water trickling down from some source higher up the valley. Upon its outer marges, under the westward mountains, Mordor was a dying land, but it was not yet dead. And here, things still grew. Harsh, twisted, bitter, struggling for life. In the glens of the Morgai, on the other side of the valley, low, scrubby trees lurked and clung. Coarse gray grass tussocks. Say that 5 times fast. Coarse gray grass tussocks. Coarse gray grass tussocks. Actually, it's not that hard, but it kind of has like a little poetry to it. Fought with the stones, and withered mosses crawled on them. And everywhere, great writhing, tangled brambles sprawled. Some had long, stabbing thorns. Some hooked barbs that rent like knives. The sullen, shriveled leaves of a past year hung on them, grating and rattling in the sad airs, but their maggot-ridden buds were only just opening. Flies, dun or gray or black, marked like the orcs with a red eye-shaped blotch, buzzed and stung, and above the briar thickets, clouds of hungry midges danced and reeled. Okay, phenomenal paragraph. Let's talk about this for a second. Phenomenal paragraph. 1 second. I need to write this down. The beats of this paragraph are insane. So when you're writing, your writing needs to have beats, and everyone knows this intuitively. Everyone who has written a word or a sentence knows how to write in beats. You never put a bunch of heavy words in one sentence. You never should do that unless you're doing it stylistically to demonstrate something. So there's a really good example of this in the poem As Kingfishers Catch Fire. He uses the poem, the beginning of this, like he uses the meter of the actual lines to correlate with the feelings of whatever you're supposed to experience. So the poem is, as kingfishers catch fire, dragonflies draw flame. So like you have the alliteration, that's kind of cool there. And then it says, as tumbled over rim and roundy well stones ring. And the lilt of that is like you feel the echo of it. As tumbled over rim and roundy well stones ring. And then he says, like each tuck string tells, And then he says, each hung, belled, bow, swung, finds tongue to fling out broad its name. There's like an aggressive sentence structure in that sentence. And this paragraph has that. There's a lot of heavy words. Like coarse gray grass tussocks fought with the stones and the withered mosses crawled on them. And everywhere great writhing tangled brambles sprawled. Like, you feel like that's so heavy just simply because the wording is so heavy. Like it's hard. It's like it is a rhythm way to write, but it's not a natural rhythm way to write. Like the Elven lands are like flowing with like, oh, it's just nice. And this is not. It is still beautiful writing, but it's like the form is really matching the function here. Anyway, that was just a little thing. The ads are underdressed. You're fighting with Abercrombie ads. Bummer. Yeah, this does feel like a heavy chapter too. It's an interesting chapter so far. There's like not a lot that happens, but there's so much that happens in this chapter. You have ads for restaurants. All right, let's keep reading. Let's keep trudging along. Everyone, like the stream. Only half the people who are watching have liked the stream. What's going on? You don't have ads? You have YouTube Premium? Ooh, love that. Or if you're a member, do you have ads? Members have ads too. That's kind of dumb. If you're a member, you should just not have ads. That doesn't make sense that if you're a member of a channel, you have ads. What are they doing? Anyway, let's keep reading. Orc gear's no good, said Sam, waving his arms. I wish I'd gotten Orc's hide. At last, Frodo could go no further. They had climbed up a narrow, shelving ravine. My neighbor's fire alarm is going off. All right. I think it's done. Just want to make sure my neighbor's house isn't on fire real quick. I think we're good. All right, I think we're good. They're probably just cooking something. It does smell kind of good. Mount Doom. That's the fire alarm for Mount Doom. It's going off. At last, Frodo could go no further. They had climbed up a narrow, shelving ravine, but they still had a long way to go before they could even come in sight of the last craggy ridge. I must rest now, Sam, and sleep if I can, said Frodo. He looked about, but there seemed nowhere even for an animal to crawl into the dismal country. At length, tired out, they slunk under a curtain of brambles that hung down like a mat over the low rock face. There they sat and made such a meal as they could, keeping back the precious lembas for the evil days ahead. They ate half of what remained in Sam's bag, of Faramir's provisions, some dried fruit, a small slip of cured meat, and they sipped some water. They had drunk again from the pools in the valley, but they were very thirsty again. There was a bitter tang in the air of Mordor that dried the mouth. When Sam thought of water, even his hopeful spirit quailed. It quails. Even Sam's spirit is becoming a quail, guys. That is actually a really tragic line, too, that even in the absence of water, or even the thought of water, when Sam thought of water, even his hopeful spirit quailed. Sad. Beyond the Morgai, there was a dreadful plain of Gorgoroth to cross. I wonder what this plain is going to look like. Now you go to sleep first, Mr. Frodo, he said. It's getting dark again. I reckon this day is nearly over. Frodo sighed and was asleep almost before the words were spoken. Sam struggled with his own weariness. Then he took Frodo's hand. And there he sat silent till deep night fell. Then at last, to keep himself awake, he crawled from the hiding place and looked out. The land seemed full of creaking, cracking, and sly noises, but there was no sound of voice or foot. Far above the Efelduath in the west, the night sky was still, dim, and pale. There, peeping among the cloud rack, Above the dark tor high up in the mountains, Sam saw a white star twinkle for a while. The beauty of it smote his heart. Oh. There, peeping among the cloud rack, above a dark tor high up in the mountains, Sam saw a white star twinkle for a while. Oh. The beauty of it smote his heart. And he looked up out of the forsaken land, and hope returned to him. For like a shaft, clear and cold, the thought pierced him that in the end the shadow was only a small and passing thing. There was light and high beauty forever beyond its reach. His song in the tower had been defiance rather than hope. Oh. For then he was thinking of himself. Now for a moment his own fate, and even his master's, ceased to trouble him. He crawled back into the brambles and laid himself by Frodo's side. And putting away all fear, he cast himself into a deep, untroubled sleep. Oh. Ah. Ah. Gosh. Man. Is that the light of Arendelle? Arendelle to the rescue? No way. That is so beautiful. Ah. This is Arendelle's star. Yeah, guys. This guy can write. Oh. This is so good. I need to reread this. Wow. What a concept. This is crazy. And this is what helps him sleep. Not helps him sleep, but this is what gives him the ability to sleep and not have to watch and be on like duty. Ah, man. There, peeping among the cloud racks above the dark tor high up in the mountains, Sam saw a white star twinkle for a while. The beauty of it smote his heart as he looked up out of the forsaken land, and hope returned to him. For like a shaft, clear and cold, the thought pierced him that in the end the shadow was only a small and passing thing. There was light and high beauty forever beyond its reach. His song in the tower had been defiance rather than hope, for he was thinking of himself. Now, for a moment, his own fate and even his master's ceased to trouble him. He crawled back into the brambles and laid himself by Frodo's side, and putting away all fear, he cast himself into a deep, untroubled sleep. That's so good. No, don't say Rip Pippin. Guys, come on. Whoa, what a good paragraph. Man alive. They woke together hand in hand. Sam was almost fresh, ready for another day. But Frodo sighed. His sleep had been uneasy, full of dreams of fire. And waking brought him no comfort. Still, his sleep had not been without all healing virtue. He was stronger, more able to bear his burden one stage further. They did not know the time, nor how long they had slept, but after a morsel of food and a sip of water, they went on up the ravine, until it ended in a sharp slope of screens and sliding stones. or screes and sliding stones. There the last living things gave up their struggle. The tops of the Morgai were grassless, bare, jagged, barren as a slate. After much wandering and searching, they found a way that they could climb. And with the last 100 feet of clawing, scrambling, they were up. They came to a cleft between two dark crags, and passing through found themselves on the very edge of the last fence of Mordor. Below them, I could write another joke essay. I'm not going to write another joke essay about this. But the idea that Mordor is like a prison. They're like the misunderstanding of what fence would be. It's like Frodo and Sam are just trespassing. They're climbing a fence. Like, quick, quick, quick. Run, run, run. Get out of here. The cops are on us. They found themselves on a very edge of the last fence of Mordor. They're about to get in. Below them, at the bottom of a fall, some 1,500 feet, lay the inner plane stretching away into a formless gloom beyond their sight. 1,500 feet is a lot of feet. Beyond their sight. They're high elevation right here. The wind of the world blew now from the west, and the great clouds were lifted high, floating away eastward. But still only a gray light came to the dreary fields of Gorgoroth. There smokes trailed on the ground and lurked in the hollows, and fumes leaked from fissures in the earth. Still far away, 40 miles at least, they saw Mount Doom. 40 miles away. 2 days? It means faith. Wait, are we having a debate? Something like that may happen, but not in Mordor. Mordor is a prison. The gates are locked from the inside. Yeah, that's so terrifying. Wasn't there something like that in Prison Break? Maybe. Like the doors were locked. Or like there were no guards or something like that. I don't know. Hope passing and eternal casting off fear. Estelle means hope in Elvish, yeah. So good. Yeah, it is fast but they've done that before. I mean, Treebeard covered, 150 miles in like an afternoon? That was ridiculous to me. And what was it? The Druidine. The Woses of Druidine. They did I think they did something like 30 miles in an afternoon. So it can be done. I know Treebeard has much longer strides. But I would say, I mean, I could do some good hiking. I've done 20 to 35 miles in a given day. So I think I could do it. Well, let's say 3. Let's say a weekend. That's like a weekend hike for hobbits. I mean, that's all they're doing. They're just walking. Still far away, 40 miles at least, they saw Mount Doom. Now, quick cue. Did they translate this into an American version? Do I have the American version? Why would Tolkien say miles? Is it kilometers in any other person's version? Small little questions that I have. Miles is English. British invented miles? Why did I think they have kilometers? They changed in 1970. Interesting. I didn't even know that. That's actually crazy. Miles were still standard at the time. That's actually kind of crazy. I didn't know that. 3.5 miles takes about 17 hours. Well, learn something new every day. They didn't go metric till 1970. I didn't know that. There you go. All right. Well, keep reading. They saw Mount Doom, its feet founded in ashen ruin. Its huge cone rising to a great height, where its still reeking head was swathed in cloud. Its fires were now dimmed, and it stood in smoldering slumber, as threatening and dangerous as a sleeping beast. Behind it there hung a vast shadow, ominous as a thunder cloud, the Vales of Barad-dûr, that was reared away far upon the long spur of the Ashen Mountains thrust down from the north. The dark power was deep in thought, and the eye turned inward, pondering tidings of doubt and danger. A bright sword and a stern and kingly face it saw, and for a while it gave little thought to other things. And all in its great stronghold, gate on the gate, and tower on tower, was wrapped in a brooding gloom. I don't like this place. Frodo and Sam gazed out in mingled loathing and wonder on this hateful land. Between them and the smoking mountain, and about it north and south, all seemed ruinous and dead. A desert burned and choked. They wondered how the lord of this realm maintained and fed his slaves. I'm wondering that too. And his armies. Yet armies he had, as far as their eyes could reach. Along the skirts of the Morgai and away southward there were camps, some of tents, some ordered like small towns. One of the largest of these was right below them. Oh no. Barely a mile out into the plain, it clustered like some huge nest of insects, with straight, dreary streets of huts and long, low, drab buildings. About it, the ground was busy with folk going to and fro. A wide road ran from its southeast to join the Morgul Way, and along it many lines of small black shapes were hurrying. I don't like the look of the of things at all, said Sam. Pretty hopeless, I call it. Saving that where there's such a lot of folk, there must be wells or water, not to mention food. And these are men, not orcs. Or my eyes are all wrong. Huh? Pretty hopeless, I call it. Saving that where there's such a lot of folk, there. Oh, okay, never mind. Where there, he's like speaking hypothetically. Wait, no, he's not. Saving that there is such a lot of folk, there must be wells or water, not to mention food. And these are men, not orcs, or my eyes are all wrong. Weird. Okay, I need to figure this out. Neither he nor Frodo knew anything of the great slave-worked fields away south in the wide realm, beyond the fumes of the mountain by the dark, sad waters of Lake Nurnen. What a map. Lake Nurnen. Nurnen. Oh, I can't. Where's Lake Nurnen? This map cuts off. Sea of Nurnen. Okay. That is very far south, though, in Mordor. Hold on. Neither he nor Frodo knew anything of the great slave-worked fields away south in this wide realm, beyond the fumes of the mountain by the dark, sad waters of Lake Nurnen, nor of the great roads that ran away east and south to tributary lands. East and south. Interesting. I want to know what is really further south. From which the soldiers of the tower brought long wagon trains of goods and booty and fresh slaves. Booty. I have such a middle school sense of humor sometimes. It's also terrifying. Here in the northward regions were the mines and forges and the musterings of long-planned war. And here the dark powers. And here the dark power, moving its armies like pieces on the board, was gathering them together. Its first moves The first feelers of its strength had been checked upon its western line, southward and northward. For the moment it withdrew them, and brought up new forces, massing them about Cirith Gorger for an avenging stroke. If it had also been its purpose to defend the mountain against all approach, it could scarcely have done more. Huh. Oh no, while I'm reading Lord of the Rings, there's political stuff going on. No, don't talk about the US versus the UK. Keep politics out. Yeah, no politics. All Lord of the Rings. Unless you want to talk about Lord of the Rings politics. You can talk about Lord of the Rings politics. And if you're a mod here too, feel free to just mute if people are getting too political. This is interesting. So hold on. Question for you guys. Are these towns just overtaken? And are they more orc towns now? Or are men still living in these towns? Because in this, they're north of Nurinen. They're like far north. They're in like the far north of Mordor. Michael, welcome. I haven't finished chapter 2 yet. We're like halfway through chapter 2. Maybe a little less than halfway through chapter 2. Still have 10 pages. So these are slave men. The Harad Wraith, Khan, Southern Ruin. There are human slaves and humans under the sway of Mordor. Now I'm curious what's going to be done with these people. When Sauron is defeated, what are they going to do? Are they going to have free reign of this land to live how they want? So are the Harad, these are human soldiers. These aren't the Harad though. I know, read and find out. All right. Oh, let me look at a map one more time. This is the Khand, not the Harad. Near Harad is really far south. I want to know what happens further south, South Gondor. Then he says near Harad, but I want to know more. I want to know. Dianza, yes. Appendices are coming right after I finish these chapters. So appendices are gonna happen, and we'll do it online. We'll do a live stream with them. All right, let's keep reading and finding out. Well, Sam went on. Whatever they have to eat and drink, we can't get it. There's no way down that I can see, and we couldn't cross all that open country, crawling with enemies, even if we did get down. Still, we have to try, said Frodo. It's no worse than I expected. I never hoped to get across. I can't see any hope of it now, but I've still got to do the best I can. At present, that is to avoid being captured as long as possible. So we must still go northwards, I think, and see what it is like where the open plain is narrower. I guess what it'll be like, said Sam. Where it's narrower, the orcs and men will just be packed closer. You'll see, Mr. Frodo. Huh. I dare say I shall if we ever get so far, said Frodo, and turned away. Man. They soon found out that it was impossible to make their way along the crest of the Morgai, or anywhere along its higher levels, pathless as they were and scored with deep gills. In the end, they were forced to go back down the ravine that they had climbed and seek for a way along the valley. It was rough going, for they dared not cross over the path on the westward side. After a mile or more, they saw, huddled in a hollow at the cliff's foot, the orc hold that they had guessed was near at hand. A wall, and a cluster of stone huts set about the dark mouth of a cave. There was no movement to be seen, but the hobbits crept by cautiously, keeping as much as they could to the thorn brakes that grew thickly at this point along both sides of the old watercourse. They went 2 or 3 miles further, and the orc hold was hidden from sight behind them. But they had hardly begun to breathe more freely again when harsh and loud they heard orc voices. Quickly they slunk out of sight beyond a brown and stunted bush. The voices drew near. Presently 2 orcs came into view. One was clad in ragged brown and was armed with a bow of horn. With a bow of horn. It's a big animal to have a bow of horn. It was of small breed, black-skinned, with wide snuffling nostrils, evidently a tracker of some kind. The other was a big fighting orc, like those of Shagrat's company, bearing the token of the eye. He also had a bow at his back and carried a short, broad-headed spear. As usual, they were quarreling, and being of different breeds, they used the common speech after their fashion. That's interesting, too. Different breeds of orcs. I mean, I've known this, but this is still so interesting that they all speak in different tongues. There's Australian. So far, we have the Australian orcs, and we have the Spanish orcs. Hardly 20 paces from where the hobbits lurked, the small orc stopped. Oh, we have the Australian. "Nor!" it snarled. "I'm going home." It pointed across the valley to the orc hold. "No good wearing my nose out on stones anymore. There's not a trace left, I say. I've lost the scent through giving way to you." I'm going home. So they smell Frodo and Sam? There's not a trace left, I say. Why? I've lost the scent through giving way to you. It went up into the hills, not along the valley, I tell you. "Not much use are you, you little snuffers," said the big orc. "I reckon eyes are better than your snotty noses." "Then what have you seen with them?" snarled the other. "Garn, you don't even know what you're looking for." "Whose blame's that?" said the soldier. "Not mine. That comes from a higher up. First they say it's a great elf in bright armor. Then it's all sorts of small dwarf men. Then it's a sort of small dwarf man. Then it must be a pack of rebel Uruk-hai, or maybe it's all the lot together." "Ah," said the tracker. "They've lost their heads. That's what it is. And some of the bosses are going to lose their skins too, I guess. If that's what I hear is true. If what I hear is true." Interesting. "Tower raided and all. And hundreds of your lads done in. And prisoner got away. And that's the way you fighters go on. Small wonder there's bad news from the battles." "Who says there's bad news?" shouted the soldier. Who says there isn't?" "That cursed rebel talk, and I'll stick you if you don't shut it down, see?" All right, said the tracker. "I'll say no more and go on thinking. But what's the black sneak got to do with it all? That gobbler with the flapping hands?" "I don't know. Nothing, maybe. But he's up to no good nosing around, I'll wager. Curse him. No sooner had he slipped us and run off than the word came that he's wanted alive. Wanted quick." Interesting. Are they talking about Sam here? But what's the black sneak got to do with it all? That gobbler with the flapping hands? When did he have flapping hands? That's Gollum. Oh, interesting. Are they tracking Gollum? So this is like, dun dun dun, Gollum's back in the story. Cool. I thought they were tracking. I think they kind of are tracking Sam. They probably catch a scent of him. But maybe they're getting lost a little bit because their Smeagol went a different direction. Let's see. I'm sure I'll get more if I read and find out. Hold on one sec. Also, everyone, like the stream. Or become a member if you want. Join for a members video. We're probably going to do a Marginalia. Maybe tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. Tomorrow night, I'm thinking. Or maybe tomorrow afternoon. I don't know. One of the two. We'll see. Anyway. That gobbler with the flapping hands. I don't know. Nothing maybe, but he's up to no good nosing around, I'll wager. Curse him. No sooner had he slipped us and run off than word came he's wanted alive, wanted quick. So they had Gollum, and he slipped away. Well, I hope they get him and put him through it. Unless this is talking about way before. No sooner had he slipped us and run off than word came he's wanted alive, wanted quick. He messed up the scent back there. Pinching that cast off male shirt that he found. And paddling all round the place before I could get there. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I don't do fast reading. No one's here for fast reading anyway. So is Gollum purposefully doing this? Or is he just so like paranoid that he's following Frodo and like literally tracking every step that he takes? Because I could imagine him, you know that one section in the movie where maybe I could write an essay about this. Where Aragorn goes, a hobbit lay here and the other here. That's really Gollum. Gollum seems like he's going like, a hobbit lay here, my precious, and the other here. Every step you take, he'll be watching you. This is when Gollum becomes Aragorn, the greatest tracker of a generation. Interesting. Okay, let's keep reading because I'm really intrigued by these. These orc conversations are some of the most intriguing, like insightful conversations. It saved his life anyhow, said the soldier. Why, before I knew he was wanted, I shot him. As neat at 50 paces, right in the back, but he ran on. Now, is he lying? Garn, you missed him, said the tracker. First you shot wild, then you run too slow, and then you send off the poor trackers. I've had enough of you. He lopped off. You come back, shouted the soldier, or I'll report you. So who's right? Did they actually shoot in the back, or wait, send for? What did I say? Send for the poor trackers, and then you send for the poor trackers. Okay, interesting. Oh, so this guy thinks he shot him, and then he sends for the poor trackers. Okay. You come back, shouted the soldier, or I'll report you. Who to? Not your precious Shagrat. He won't be captain anymore. I'll give your name and number to the Nazgul. Your name and number. I'll give your cell phone number to the Nazgul, and they'll track you down, said the soldier, lowering his voice to a hiss. That is actually crazy that they have a number. Huh. One of them's in charge at the tower now. The other halted, and his voice was full of fear and rage. You cursed, peaching sneak thief yield. You can't do your job, and you can't even stick by your own folk. Go to your filthy shriekers, and may they freeze the flesh off you. The shriekers being the Nazgul. May they freeze the flesh off you. If the enemy doesn't get them first, they've done in number one. I've heard. And I hope it's true. They've done in number one? If the enemy doesn't get them first, they've done in number one, I've heard, and I hope it's true. Oh, they've done in number one. The Witch King. No way, that's crazy. They've done in. I just couldn't read that properly. They've done in number one, I've heard, and I hope it's true. Dang, so they're like actually hoping that the Witch King is dead. It's kind of crazy. This conversation is so interesting. I feel like this conversation is fun, and then on like a reread, it's even more fun. Oh, this is great. I love, for some strange reason, I just love orc conversations. Tolkien really crushes orc conversations and giving you just the right amount of info. The big orc, spear in hand, leapt after him. But the tracker, springing behind a stone, put an arrow in his eye. Put an arrow in his eye as he ran up, and he fell with a crash. Excuse me. The other ran off across the valley and disappeared. For a while, the hobbits sat in silence. At length, Sam stirred. Well, I call that neat as neat, he said. If this nice friendliness would spread about in Mordor, half our trouble would be over. Quietly, Sam, Frodo whispered. There may be others about. We have evidently had a very narrow escape, and the hunt was hotter on our tracks than we guessed. But that is the spirit of Mordor, Sam. And it has spread to every corner of it. Orcs have always behaved like that, or so the tales all say, when they are on their own. But you can't get much hope out of it. They hate us far more, altogether and all the time. If those two had seen us, they would have dropped all quarreling until we were dead. There was another long silence. Sam broke it again, but with a whisper this time. Did you hear what they said about that gobbler, Mr. Frodo? I told you Gollum wasn't dead yet, didn't I? Bum, bum, bum. Dang, crazy. Yes, I remember. And I wondered how you knew, said Frodo. Well, come now. I think we had better not move out from here again until it has gone quite dark. So you shall tell me how you know, and all about what happened, if you can do it quietly. I'll try, said Sam, but when I think of that stinker, I get so hot I could shout. There the hobbits sat under the cover of the thorny bush, while the drear light of Mordor faded slowly into a deep and starless night. And Sam spoke into Frodo's ear all that he could find words for of Gollum's treacherous attack, the horror of Shelob, and his own adventures with the orcs. When he had finished, Frodo said nothing but took Sam's hand and pressed it. At length he stirred. Well, I suppose we must be going on again, he said. I wonder how long it will be before we are really caught, and all the toiling and slinking will be over, and in vain. He stood up. It's dark, and we cannot use the lady's glass. Keep it safe for me, Sam. I have nowhere to keep it now, except in my hand. And I shall need both hands in the blind night. But Sting I give to you. I have got an orc blade, but I do not think it will be my part to strike any blow again. So that one section is smart, where Sam has Sting. Sam has maybe a little bit more strength than Frodo at the moment. So Sam should have Sting. Frodo should have the file. They need to figure out a way to give Frodo the file. Again, because it feels like it's doing something. I don't know. Keep this in my mind. Deal. Taking a mental note of that. Yeah, this does answer some of my questions about the file. But they really can't use Sting either, because Sting is going to be blinding. It's not going to be probably as bright as the file, but it's still going to be super bright. They need to keep it sheathed. Frodo's got no pocketses. Frodo's got no pocketses to hold his precious file. He was difficult and dangerous moving in the night in the pathless land. But slowly and with much stumbling, the two hobbits toiled on hour by hour northward along the eastern edge of the stony valley. When a gray light crept back over the western heights, long after day had opened in the lands beyond, and went into hiding again and slept a little, turn by turn. In his times of waking, Sam was busy with thoughts of food. At last, when Frodo roused himself and spoke of eating and making ready for yet another effort, he asked the question that was troubling him most. "Begging your pardon, Mr. Frodo," he said, "but have you any notion of how far there still is to go?" No, not any clear notion," Frodo answered. "In Rivendell, before I set out, I was shown a map of Mordor that was made before the enemy came back here. But I only remember it vaguely. I remember clearest that there was a place in the north where the western range and the northern range send out spurs that nearly meet. That must be 20 leagues at least from the bridge back by the tower. It might be a good point at which to cross. But of course, if we get there, we shall be further than where we were from the mountain. 60 miles from it, I think. I guess that we have gone about 12 leagues north from the bridge now. Even if all goes well, I could hardly reach the mountain in a week." Interesting. "I am afraid, Sam, that the burden will get very heavy, and I shall go still slower as we get nearer." That is interesting, too, because at this moment, Aragorn is probably healing a bunch of people in Minas Tirith, and they haven't yet set off. They set off the next day. I think they set off the next day. Okay, Lemmy, we're going to go on a 40-minute rant. Yeah, Mordor hiking trails. Not well marked. No real trails. It's a trailless land. So there's not really a trail there. It's interesting. This is a couple days after the healing. I thought, maybe, yeah, actually. No, because they just slept one night. Maybe two, because they were having sleeps. They're still kind of like in the middle of traveling. So there's probably a few miles still. Yeah, because they went 12 leagues from the bridge. So, yeah, they've gone a little bit. So maybe they're like, oh, they left 2 days later. So maybe, interesting. So they still have like 8 days to 10 days probably till they get to Mount Doom. Mordor is more of a biking culture. There's a road in the next chapter. Interesting. It's very important. All right. Well, we'll see. Hi, Wes. Oh, it's a good stretch, buddy. Wes, 3 more pages, and we'll go for a little rainy walk. Actually, it's not raining anymore. It's drizzling. But Wes loves the rain, so. All right, let's keep reading. Where am I? Sam sighed. "That's just as I feared," he said. "Well, to say nothing of water, we've got less to eat, Mr. Frodo, or else move a bit quicker. At any rate, while we're still in this valley, one more bite and all the food's ended, save the elves' waybread." "I'll try and be a bit quicker, Sam," said Frodo, drawing a deep breath. "Come on, then. Let's start another march." I love them. I love Frodo so much. He's so brave. It was not yet quite dark again. They plodded along on into the night. The hours passed in a weary, stumbling trudge with a few brief halts. At the first hint of gray light, under the skirts of the canopy of shadow, they hid themselves again in a dark hollow under an overhanging stone. Slowly the light grew, until it was clearer than it had yet been. Hold on 1 second. I got to clear my throat. I'm going to mute this because it's going to be a big throat clear. All right, we're back. Sorry, that was gross. A strong wind from the west was now driving the fumes of Mordor from the upper airs. Before long, the hobbits could make out the shapes of the land for some miles about them. The trough between the mountains and the Morgai had steadily dwindled as it climbed upward. And the inner ridge was now no more than a shelf in the steep faces of the Ephel-Duath. But to the east it fell as sheerly as ever down into the Gorgoroth. Ahead, the watercourse came to an end in broken steps of rocks. For out of the main range there sprang a high, barren spur, thrusting eastward like a wall. To meet it there stretched out from the grey and misty north range of Ered Luthwy a long jutting arm, and between the ends there was a narrow gap. Carach Angren, the Eisenmouth, beyond which lay the deep dale of Udun, the flame of Udun. Hold on, let me check out the map real quick for this. That is so far north that they have to go to get to the Eisenmouth if they're going to go that way. Hold on, let me zoom in real quick. Okay, hold on. Let me maximize this and take you guys on a journey with me. So, they need to get here. They go all the way up here, and they're looking down across this section. And essentially they have the debate whether to go up to the Eisenmouth and around, or straight, because there's a bunch of places here. Why would they go to the Eisenmouth? Oh, that's a different Udun? Interesting. Maybe I'm reading that wrong. 1 second. Let me reread this real quick. And between the ends there was a narrow gap. Carach Angren, the Eisenmouth, beyond which lay the deep dale of Udun. In that dale behind the Mount Moranon were the tunnels and deep armories that the servants of the Mordor had made for the defense of the Black Gate of their land. And there now their lord was gathering in great haste. Forces to meet the onslaught of the captains of the west. Upon the outthrust spurs, forts and towers were built, and watchfires burned. And all across the gap, an earth wall had been raised, and a deep trench delved that could be crossed only by a single bridge. Oh, sorry guys. There's that's YouTube. Whatchamacallit? YouTube Studio right there. Hopefully no personal information was shown on that. I didn't have the stream key. Imagine if I had the stream key just visible for all to see. Anybody can stream on the channel. Okay. Armies are blocking the direct route. Huh. Morgai is a steep on the outer wall toward the side of Mount Doom. Oh, that little section. Okay. Hold on. Yeah, these mountains are funky. All right, let's keep reading. A deep trench and watchfires burned, and all across the gap an earth wall had been raised, and a deep trench delved that could be crossed only by a single bridge. An earth wall had been raised. A few miles north, high up in the angle where the western spur branched away from the main range, stood the old castle of Durthang, now one of the many orc holds that clustered about the Dale of Udun. A road already visible in the growing light came winding down from it, until only a mile or two from where the hobbits lay, it turned east and ran along a shelf cut in the side of the spur, and so went down into the plain and onto the Eisenmouth. To the hobbits, as they looked out, it seemed that all their journey north had been useless. The plain to their right was dim and smoky, and they could see there neither camps nor troops moving, but all that region was under the vigilance of the forts of Carrick Angren. "We have come to a dread end, Sam," said Frodo. "If we go on, we shall only come up to that orc tower. But the only road to take is that road that comes down from it, unless we go back. We can't climb up westward, or climb down eastward." "Then we must take the road, Mr. Frodo," said Sam. "We must take it and chance our luck. If there is any luck in Mordor, we might as well give ourselves up as we wander about anymore, or try to go back. Our food won't last. We've got to make a dash for it." Hold on. Okay. I need to figure out where they are. They're so far north. Why would they go that far north? So they go all the way here and they don't come across here. They keep going all the way north here to Durthang. And so they're taking this road, or aren't they currently on this road right now? I thought, okay, interesting. The Morgai is impassable, so they're coming all the way here. So they're in Durthang. Interesting. And they're going down. They're near Durthang. They're about to go onto the main road. That is so far north. I can't believe they did that. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. But that's crazy. And so they said this is a land, or they built this like what'd they say, a earth bridge. So this is a gate. This is Durthang. Goes across. Interesting. I love that you have an elven calendar. That's great. All right, let's keep reading. Maybe a little confused, but I think that's okay. We've got to make a dash for it. If there's any luck in Mordor, we might as well give ourselves up as we wander about anymore or try to go back. Our food won't last. We've got to make a dash for it. Wait, am I at that point? Yeah. "All right, Sam," said Frodo. "Lead me. As long as you've got any hope left. Mine is gone, but I can't dash, Sam. I'll just plod along after you." Gosh, when you've run out of hope, all you can do is plod. Frodo is lovely, even though he's out of hope here. I love that he just keep going. He's not really out of hope. Oh, so good. So good. Okay. If I look at the map on the eastern side of the Morgaine, they are close together, indicating the change of elevation is quick, that they can't go on. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Okay, let's keep reading. "Before you start any more plotting, you need sleep and food, Mr. Frodo. Come and take what you can get of them." He gave Frodo water and an additional wafer of the way bread, and he made a pillow of his cloak for his master's head. Frodo was too weary to debate the matter, and Sam did not tell him that he had drunk the last drop of their water and eaten Sam's share of the food as well as his own. Oh, man. When Frodo was asleep, Sam bent over him and listened to his breathing and scanned his face. "Hey, Wes. Wes, we'll go in a few. Give me like a few more. Just 2 more pages, buddy. It'll only take 2 hours." Um, so Sam is giving him his own portions. Come here. Come say hi to everyone. Come here. Oh, that's a good stretch. All right, you just lay down and just chill for a bit, Wes. When Frodo was asleep, Sam bent over him and listened to his breathing and scanned his face. It was lined and thin, and yet in sleep it looked content and unafraid. Well, here goes, master, Sam muttered to himself. I'll have to leave you for a bit and trust to luck. Water we must have, or we'll get no further. Oh. Uh-oh. I don't love the idea of them splitting up, even for Sam to do something noble as getting water, because there is a, what they call him, that hand moving dude, that gobbler with the flapping hands is about. Hey, it's okay, bud. That was just the water in the radiator. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Interesting. Okay. Sam crept out, and flitting from stone to stone with more than hobbit care, he went down to the watercourse and then followed it for some ways as it climbed north, until he came to the rock steps, where long ago, no doubt, its spring had come gushing down in a little waterfall. All now seemed dry and silent, but refusing to despair, Sam stooped and listened, and to his delight he caught the sound of trickling. Clambering a few steps up, he found a tiny stream of dark water that came up from the hillside and filled a little bare pool from which it spilled again, and vanished then under the barren stones. Sam tasted the water, and it seemed good enough. Then he drank deeply, refilled the bottle, and turned to go back. At that moment, he caught a glimpse of a black form, or a shadow, flitting among the rocks away near Frodo's hiding place. What's up, Wes? Are you okay? Wes, we'll go on in a few, okay? Just give me a few more minutes. Jumping from stone to stone, it was a wary creature, difficult to see. But Sam had little doubt about it. He longed to get his hands on its neck, but it heard him coming and slipped away quickly. Sam thought he saw a last fleeting glimpse of it, peering back over the edge of the eastward precipice before it ducked and disappeared. Well, luck did not let me down, muttered Sam. But that was a near thing. The gobbler and the snot-nosed snuffler. Dang. It isn't enough to have orcs by the thousands without that stinking villain coming nosing around. I wish he had been shot. He sat down by Frodo and did not rouse him, but he did not dare to go to sleep himself. At last, when he felt his eyes closing and knew that a struggle to keep awake could not go on much longer, he wakened Frodo gently. Anybody hear my dog chomping on his food over there? Probably getting a little bit of that. Yes, Sam Smeagol's a little turkey. That Gollum's about again, I'm afraid, Mr. Frodo, he said, leastways. Leastways, if it wasn't him, then there's two of him. Which kind of is true. I went away to find some water and spied him nosing round just as they turned back. I reckon it isn't safe for both of us to sleep together. And begging your pardon, but I can't hold up my lids much longer. Bless you, Sam, said Frodo. Lie down and take your proper turn. But I'd rather have Gollum than orcs. At any rate, he won't give us away to them. Not unless he's caught himself. But he might do a bit of robbery and murder on his own, growled Sam. Keep your eyes open, Mr. Frodo. There's a bottle full of water. Drink up. We can fill it again when we go on. With that, Sam plunged into sleep. Light was fading again when he woke. Frodo sat propped against the rock behind, but he had fallen asleep. The water bottle was empty. Sorry, Wes's chomps keep distracting me. I don't think this is going to happen, but imagine if Gollum goes up to speak with Frodo while Sam is asleep. I wonder if Tolkien was giving a little room for that, potentially. It's interesting. Light was fading again when he woke. Frodo sat propped against the rock behind, but he had fallen asleep. The water bottle was empty. There was no sign of Gollum. Mordor dark had returned, and the watchfires on the heights burned fierce and red when the hobbits set out again on the most dangerous stage of all their journey. They went first to the little spring, and then climbed warily up, and then climbing warily up, they came to the road at the point where it swung eastward toward the Eisenmouth 20 miles. It was not a broad road, and it had no wall or parapet along its edge. And as it ran on, the sheer drop from the brink became deeper and deeper. The hobbits could hear no movement, and after listening for a while, they set off eastward at a steady pace. After doing some 12 miles, they halted. A short way back, the road had bent a little northward, and the stretch that they had passed over was now screened from sight. This proved disastrous. They rested for some minutes and then went on, but they had not taken many steps when suddenly in the stillness of night they heard the sound that all along they had secretly dreaded. The noise of marching feet. It was still some way behind them, but looking back they could see the twinkle of torches coming round the bend less than a mile away. And they were moving fast. Too fast for Frodo to escape by flight along the road ahead. I feared it, Sam, said Frodo. We've trusted to luck, and it has failed us. We're trapped. He looked wildly up at the frowning wall, where the road builders of old had cut rock sheer for many fathoms above their heads. He ran to the other side and looked over the brink into a dark pit of gloom. We're trapped at last, he said. He sank to the ground beneath the beneath the wall of rock and bowed his head. Seems so, said Sam. Well, we can wait and see. And with that, he sat down beside Frodo under the shadow of the cliff. They did not have to wait long. The orcs were going at a great pace. Those in the foremost files bore torches. On they came, red flames in the dark, swiftly growing. Now Sam too bowed his head, hoping that it would hide his face when the torches reached them. And he set their shields before their knees to hide their feet. If only they are in a hurry, and will let a couple of tired soldiers alone and pass on, he thought. And so it seemed that they would. The leading orcs came loping along. This is interesting. The leading orcs came loping along, panting, holding their heads down. There were a gang of smaller breeds being driven unwilling to their Dark Lord's wars. All they cared for was to get the march over and escape the whip. Beside them, running up and down the line, went two of the large, fierce Uruks, cracking lashes and shouting. File after file passed, and the telltale torchlight was already some way ahead. Sam held his breath. Now more than half the line had gone by. Then suddenly one of the slave drivers spied the two figures by the roadside. He flicked the whip at them and yelled, "Hi, you, get up!" They did not answer. And with a shout, he halted the whole company. "Come on, you slugs," he cried. "This is no time for slouching." He took a step toward them, and even in the gloom he recognized the devices on their shield. "Deserting, eh?" he snarled. "Or thinking of it? All your folk should have been inside Udun before yesterday evening. You know that. Up you get and fall in, or I'll have your numbers and report you." So these are the men. Are they mistaking these hobbits for the men? mistaking from orcs, though? They're not wearing helmets. Weird little orcs, I guess. I know the part was in the movies, but in the movies they're wearing their gear. Yeah, so they hide their feet. They're dressed like orcs, but they're not covering their faces? Or are they? Did they cast off everything except for that? Oh, he just dumped the male because that was it. So they still have the helmets. Interesting. Okay. Andrew. Oh, I actually know that song because it comes up every so often, like on like a TikTok or like Instagram thing. Hey, relax. There's nothing going on. Relax. I have heard that song. It's a great song. Kind of hits. So they have helmets, cloaks, and shields. Okay, interesting. Okay, so that makes more sense. This is interesting. They struggle to their feet and keeping bent, limping like footsore soldiers, they shuffled back toward the rear of the line. No, not at the rear, the slave driver shouted. 3 files up and stay there, or you'll know it. When I come down the line. He sent his long whiplash cracking over their heads. Then, with another crack and a yell, he started the company off again at a brisk trot. It was hard enough for poor Sam, tired as he was, but for Frodo it was a torment, and soon a nightmare. He set his teeth and tried to stop his mind from thinking, and he struggled on. The stench of the sweating orcs about him was stifling, and he began to gasp with thirst. On and on they went, and he bent all his will to draw his breath and to make his legs keep going. And yet, to what evil end he toiled and endured he did not dare to think. There was no hope of falling out unseen. Now and again the orc driver fell back and jeered at them. There now, he laughed, looking at their legs. Where there's a whip, there's a will, my slugs. Hold up. I'd give you a nice freshener now. Only you'll get as much lash as your skins will carry when you come in late to your camp. Do you good? Don't you know we're at war? How are they going to get out of this? They had gone some miles, and the road was at last running down a long slope into the plain, when Frodo's strength began to give out and his will wavered. He lurched and stumbled. Desperately, Sam tried to help him and hold him up, though he felt that he could himself hardly stay the pace much longer. At any moment now, he knew that the end would come. His master would faint or fall, and all would be discovered, and their bitter efforts be in vain. I'll have that big slave-driving devil anyway, he thought. Then, just as he was putting his hands to the hilt of his sword, there came an unexpected relief. They were out on the plain now, and drawing near the entrance to Udun, some way in front of it. Before the gates at the bridge end, the road from the west converged with others coming from the south, and from Barad-dûr. Along the roads, troops were moving, for the captains of the west were advancing, and the Dark Lord was speeding his forces north. So it chanced that several companies came together at the road meeting, and in the dark, beyond the light of the watchfires on the wall. At once there was a great jostling and cursing, as each troop tried to get first to the gate and the ending of their march. Though the drivers yelled and plied their whips, scuffles broke out, and some blades were drawn. A troop of heavy-armed Uruks from Barad-dûr charged into the Durthang line and threw them into confusion. Dazed as he was with pain and weariness, Sam woke up, grasped quickly at his chance, and threw himself to the ground, dragging Frodo down with him. Orcs fell over them, snarling and cursing. Slowly, on hand and knee, the hobbits crawled away out of the turmoil, until at last, unnoticed, they dropped over the further edge of the road. It had a high curb by which the troop leaders could guide themselves in black night or fog, and it was banked up some feet above the level of open land. They lay still for a while, but it was too dark to seek for cover, if indeed there was any to find. But Sam felt that they ought at least to get further away from the highway and out of the range of torchlight. "Come on, Mr. Frodo," he whispered. "One more crawl, then you can lie still." With a last despairing effort, Frodo raised himself on his hands and struggled on for maybe 20 yards. Then he pitched down into a shallow pit that opened unexpectedly before them. And there he lay like a dead thing. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. And he pitched down into a shallow pit that opened unexpectedly before them. And there he lay like a dead thing. Rip Frodo. Poor Frodo. Oh my gosh. That is crazy. Yeah, Michael, thanks for the $5 too. They had gone some miles. That is crazy. Marching with orcs for miles, and he's carrying the ring with him the entire time. Oh, I feel so bad for Frodo. Frodo is still my favorite. I still love Frodo so much. Dude, the things that hobbit has gone through. And for him to feel no hope and still march on is astonishing. That when he's out of hope, all he does is just keeps plodding on. Because that's all he can do. That's such a great, that's like a underrated line, I think. I don't hear too many people talking about that, but the line where he's like, let me just keep plodding on. Oh, this is so good. Now, that was an interesting chapter, I do have to say. So much direction and confusion. It's like, I feel like I'm like playing chess here in this chapter. Like everything is just, they're making moves and counter moves. Yeah, dismissing Frodo's heroics. Frodo is the most heroic character in this story. Come on. Let's be honest. I mean, Sam is courageous too. Sam is the second most. But goodness gracious, Frodo is amazing. President Snow. You're not a hike person? This seems like an awful hike, I have to admit. But I still love even an awful hike. Frodo doesn't get enough credit. Like, it was like a confusing chapter. It was so interesting. It felt a little bit like the old forest come to life in Mordor. Like they're going through brambles and they're going all over the place and they just can't get out of this place. Like no matter what point they turn, they're going to be in trouble. And Mordor has to feel like that. Mordor has to feel like that. Like if Mordor doesn't feel like that, then what are we doing this whole thing for? They have to struggle at the end. That last line is just devastating. That Frodo falls in this pit like a dead man. Like a dead thing. Not even a dead man, like a dead thing. Wait, interesting. Hold on. Tolkien has them use anti-tracking tactics just so they can get a good view of the area. What do you mean? Tell me more. Wait. No way. Hold on. You found a character that you hate more than Denethor? Who is this? Yeah, it is just an absolute slog through Mordor. Which is why I feel like Mordor just is like so poisoned. This land feels awful. Anava, thanks for joining. Man. Next read, it's literally the chapter title is Mount Doom. I thought there was going to be another chapter to get to Mount Doom, but I guess we're at Mount Doom. Does the ring get destroyed? Oh, Frollo is legitimately probably the worst character in any Disney movie. I think he's the greatest villain in any Disney movie ever. This is crazy. Does the ring get destroyed next chapter? That's crazy. The villain in Atlantis, the big guy, I think Frollo's a little creepier than him. Although Atlantis is a great movie. I do know that song because it's a banger. It's like one of the best songs ever. Every once in a while it pops up on like a video on like my feed or whatever. The next chapter ends on a cliffhanger. Come on. There are 8 endings. I know, for real. I think there are going to be 8 endings. That's actually crazy that in the 3rd chapter of this, we're going to hit that. Oh, that's so strange. I'm confused at what's going to come next. So they got away, but like barely. And they're crawling away. I'm so curious about the next chapter too. I'm so curious how Gollum's going to jump back into the story. And Frodo having the blade. Does he have an orc blade now? And Sam having Sting, that feels important. Scar killed his brother. Cecilia, you only think that because you have people you know who work in conservation. Scar is a good villain. I still think Frollo is the best. Lime Mango, have a good night's sleep. If anybody's European, you're probably going to sleep now. I'm going to go take Wes for a walk in a bit. You just lay on the bed, sad. We took a walk this morning, but he wants another walk. They need a chapter for Pip's funeral. Come on, guys. Don't do this to me. Joffrey is pretty terrible. The next chapter is literally called Mount Doom. I wonder what it's about. It is so interesting to me. I'm so curious what the rest of this is going to be. The rest of the book. It's just going to be a bunch of endings. It's called Mount Doom because it's constantly in the distance. Frodo staring at it. They reach it at the end of the chapter. Interesting. I'm really not ready for what the rest of this book is going to have. I'm a little nervous. I did reread The Giving of the Ring. Or not The Giving. It wasn't really giving. Frodo snatched it out of his hand. That was it was an interesting section. I don't think it will be my part to strike a blow again. Does Frodo say that? Say, oh, what? Huh? We really need to set up, before we reach the last chapter, we need to set up a bingo game for this, for me reading. Anytime I say interesting. No, I haven't read the appendices, but I will read it. I'll eventually get there. Denethor comes back as Denethor the White. That's great. He says it when he gives Sting to Frodo. Interesting. Won't be his part to strike a blow again. Huh. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped for the appendices. I'm pretty pumped for The Hobbit too. I mean, I'm legitimately sad that we're in book 6. I am so excited that we're in book 6, but I'm still legitimately sad that it's going to be the end of my first read. But now I just get to join in the journey of a lifetime for reading this book once a year with you guys. Frodo won't strike a blow again. It almost feels like an oath. Kind of, right? Kinda? Maybe. Yeah, so I've read The Hobbit middle school. I'm gonna read it again. So that'll be my next read because I forgot so much of it. So I'll read The Hobbit or I'll read the appendices, The Hobbit, then we'll start on the Silmarillion. So we got a while. Still got a long time on the journey. I did read the one of the appendices as on a live read of the pronunciation guide, but my pronunciation still sucks, so it didn't really help me that much. Yeah, I think it was required reading in 7th or 8th grade for me or something like that. I'm pretty pumped for The Hobbit. I know people love The Hobbit more than love Lord of the Rings, so maybe that's sacrilege to say for some of you guys. Second time's Lord of the Rings channel. I know. Well, whenever I finish this for sure, I'm gonna have to just rename the channel. Maybe like 50th time readers, or like some other FT abbreviation, because it's like all the channels that I do are gonna be first timers, fifth timers, feckin' timers. There wasn't okay. So interestingly, I didn't think there's a lot of essays. There are. I mean, I was thinking about this in the last chapter. When I was going through the last chapter, the Tower of Cirith Ungol, I think there was a month worth of essays in that, and I had to combine a bunch of stuff. This chapter, I have 5 things written down, 5 essays. Full timers, that's a good one. I like that actually. Thanks for joining on the stream. Love having you, as always. You guys are the best. Legitimately. I was just talking so it was funny because I was just talking at Thanksgiving with some of my family, and they were talking about YouTube and stuff like that. And they're like, oh man, some people on YouTube live streams are so mean and nasty. There's so many trolls out there. And my family was like, if you've watched any of my streams, like there's like such little negativity on ours. It's the best. You guys are legitimately the best. It makes me so honored to be able to read this with you guys, and you guys just like geek out and nerd out about this with me. It's like the best. I love it. You guys are like legitimately make this so fun. Frodo timer. I kind of love that. I did listen to Sam's song in Klamavi, and I don't like their rendition of it. Don't like the rendition at all. It's not sad enough for me. No, even the negative comments are still positive. There's no one who's like trolled. There are occasionally people who like troll and like sneak through, but yeah, Tolkien promotes character. You guys are all character people of character. I love it. Lord of the Rings community is great. I've like had such a good experience. I know people always talk. There's like always negatives to communities and like the deeper you go, but I think the deeper I go into Tolkien's community, I think there's more and more people who just love this book and just want to defend it for all they're worth. And there's like some friendly debates that go on, but I love it. They have a live stream troll. Vormir says that. They have a live stream troll. Anytime someone comes up, I should. Okay, we're gonna do this. I gotta take that clip, and anytime someone says something mean or nasty in the stream, I could play that clip. They have and then I'll insert live stream troll. I love that idea. Tolkien Rants, genius, absolute genius. Also, everyone go subscribe to Tolkien Rants. Shout out for the Pookelmen too, yeah. Exhaustion of travel through Mordor. Yes! Diane, that's what I feel after this chapter. That's probably the biggest essay that I'm going to write about this chapter. That the writing contributes to the feeling of Frodo and Sam. That I'm tired after this chapter. Like, I have to go on a walk with Wes, but I'm like, ugh. Like Wes is going to be like, I can't carry the ring for you, but I can carry you. Or maybe I'll do that to Wes. Yeah, Balrog's having wings or not. Yeah, for sure. Interesting. I love that you just catch new things after every single read. Lord of the Rings just seems so in-depth that it seems like so rereadable. Yeah, everyone needs to go get a large drink of water right now. I feel so thirsty. What is that Dwight quote? My mouth tastes so bad all of a sudden. Man. Yeah, anytime someone says ripping, I'm just going to have to constantly play that. That's crazy. Drunk a bottle of wine while watching the live stream. And given that I usually barely drink at all, I'm feeling it. Go douse yourself. Go take a shower. Go drink that off or sleep that off. Yeah, everyone go get some water. Put a little oil in it. Get a little, what's something that'll make it bitter? Get a little broccoli rabe. Mix it up in there. And then drink that water in honor of Sam and Frodo. Entwise were in the old forest gardening. I kind of love that. Yeah, baking soda and oil. Well, I need a little oil and salt. Put a little bit of that on bread. Got a good meal there. Go eat some old Thanksgiving leftovers now. I'm excited. All right, everyone. It's a little drizzly out, but I'm going to go take Wes for a walk because he's been waiting so patiently. And it's so depressing. Like in the summer, I feel like I was able to just chat more because we have light. But now we don't have light. Everyone fetch me wood and oil. Full of black pepper from medication side effect. Oh, that sucks. That really sucks. I hope that that is out of there. All right, guys. It was a pleasure as always. You guys are legitimately the best. Thank you so much for joining on the stream. Yeah, Wes is a trooper. He's just laying on the bed. His paws right here. His head's on his paws, and he's just waiting for me to click end stream so that we can go on a walk. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna reward him, guys. I do need a file, seriously. I do go for night walks. They're some of my favorite, but it's chilly. But guys, thanks for watching. You guys are the best. Have a great night or afternoon or morning, wherever you're at. Have a good one. And we got some essays coming out this week. Got some more essays. I'm going to get a marginally. If anybody wants to become a member, go with the goodwill of all men. Absolutely. And more importantly, not more importantly, that sounds bad. Where's the song? Oh, it's in the last chapter. I still haven't memorized that last line yet. I need to memorize that last line. I will not say the day is done, nor bid the stars farewell. Oh, so good. It's so good. All right, guys, I'm going to go reward Wes and take him for a little walk because he's been such a good boy. All right, guys, have a good one. And if you want to become a member, I'm going to do a marginalia probably tomorrow. Afternoon or night, one of the two. Any members in here have a preference, afternoon or night for tomorrow? Maybe like 5. I don't know. Marginalia, come tomorrow. Let me know. Keep me in the loop. Nights, okay. We'll do it like nightish. Deal. We'll do it like sometime around the night. All right, everyone. Everyone, as always, say goodbye to our one and only Galadriel. Later.